I've developed some really almost obsessive, people make fun of me. Well, my wife is like, okay, I get it. Morning routines, evening routines that are just non-negotiable.
Yep.
And every time I do negotiate, I'm like, oh, yep. I knew I shouldn't have. But creating that space in the morning to do the check-ins, to check in with yourself, to journal, to pray, to listen to music. I jump on a trampoline and I say affirmations. I do all this cheesy stuff. That's why my kids and
I did the
wife
same
make fun of me.
thing. That's so weird. I've got a morning trampoline too.
Do you? Mm-hmm. It's great for your adrenal system. It gets
your lymphatic system. Yeah.
And I take a cold shower.
Yep.
And so there's all this stuff. I mean, through the years, I've learned all these biohacks. I mean, we could geek out on that for a long time. I don't want leaders to hear like, oh, I have to do that to feel like I could. What you do have to do, though, is you have to have a routine.
Right.
And you have to do this daily. And you have to figure out what works for you that's going to set you up for success each day. And then you're going to fail. And then you're going to try it again. And then you're going to fail. And you're going to try it again. But it's that every day, that little fishing weight on the side of the scale.
Yeah.
What are your routines aside from checking in with your wife and the things that, you know, kind of get you ready to come into the day so that you don't get hijacked by lunchtime?
I love it. So best I can, and again, I'm being graceful with myself, but 1 to 2 hours after I wake up is when we turn any sort of social media nonsense on. I want my thoughts to be of my own making, of my own choosing in the morning. I go outside in the dark and I put my feet in the bare grass and I sit there. This morning I had scripture. Other days I've got poetry. Other days I've got just a book I'm working through. But it's intentional quiet time. And then I do have a rather non-negotiable exercise program because that clears my head up. I'm past, like, I'd love to look 18 again. I'm not gonna. And so, but that's part of it, but I'm really, it clears my body, my head and mind up. A daily gratitude journal is super, super important. Daily checking in with my wife every single day of the week, every single day of the year. I ask her, or she asks me, what does your picture of today look like? I want an actual firm photograph of today, not things like, well, I'm going to need some time after work. Well, time after work for me may mean I'm going to walk in the door and I'm off. I'm off duty till midnight. I'm going to watch Office reruns. I'm vegging out. And time alone for her might mean, okay, after John helps with dinner and he helps with the kids' beds and then he's going to go for a walk for 10 minutes. So I want a snapshot. What is today going to look like? And then I'm really graceful with myself. I'm really intentional about calling friends. I've got to be on the phone or in connection with somebody. And I've got to be hyper intentional about sleep. Hyper intentional about sleep.
That's a big deal. I've learned to do a lot of the stuff you're talking about. And I tried to do it for a while and then it wouldn't work. And I kept fumbling. And I had to do an exercise. Somebody said, you need to sit down and list out, like, what are the enemies to you having a successful morning routine? And I realized, like, every morning, my phone, I'm turning off the alarm on my phone, and then I just open my email. Why?
Right.
Because it's right there.
It's right there.
You know? And then you open that email and you start reading, then you see another email, and you, like you said, click a link. And your whole morning of intentionality has been reactive to this point. Now the kids are like, hey, can we have breakfast? And everybody's stressed and I don't want to wear that to school. You have to wear that to school. And, you know, and then you run out the door and kiss your wife and you, boom, go. Right. And then you're in the car in traffic and everybody's angry in traffic. And then you show up in your first meeting and you're highly caffeinated because you jammed coffee all morning. Oh, I forgot to eat breakfast. And now you're screwed at this point. Right. That was me. I'm describing
and the podcast you listen to on the way are ones specifically designed to get you nice and fired up. Right. I mean, we're just we're in it, right?
And I had to go, okay, if I'm going to have this morning routine, I can't. And you said it, like you don't turn on social media for the first hour or two. I cannot. So I have a not to do list that empowers my ability to do these things that I'm, supposed to do that are really good for me. And emails on it, right? Don't check the calendar, don't check text, don't check. And to really get into that habit, like I had to put the phone in the other room for a couple months and just use an old-fashioned alarm clock.
Yep.
Like, that's weird.
I've got an awesome old-fashioned, yeah, that's right.
What are some of the common enemies that keep us from doing these things that are really good for our soul, but they're subtle and we don't really realize that it's happening?
Distraction is a big one. When I get tired, my nutrition goes to trash. And when my nutrition goes to trash, my ability to focus, my kindness to my family goes to trash. It just is a cycle for me. I've dialed in pretty close. If I eat a pizza, I'm going to be a crappy dad the next day. It just is. I'm not going to sleep well.
Cause and effect.
I'm going to wake up late. Yeah. And then there's some things, they're little bitty, like you say, they're little woo-woo things. Things like changing your physical state and sitting in an ice bath in the morning just to show myself I can. Instead of racing out to the gym. I started slowly over years accumulating gym equipment off Craigslist, and now I've got my own gym in my garage, and that's 30 minutes there and 30 minutes back. That's an hour I've got in my day now. Instead of spending 10 minutes being so angry with the kids in the morning, why are you yelling? Let's go. All right. What if I spent 2 minutes sitting outside their door praying for them before I started my day, right? Or if the first thing when they walk out, the first thing I do is I say, hey, come here. And we just start the day with a 30-second hug. I've got a 4.5-year-old daughter who, when she sees me, she's like, no hugs, Dad, no hugs. But my son now, he's just like a rote zombie. He'll come straight to me, and we will just start the day that way. And it just has a leavening effect on everything. But it's being highly intentional. And for me, touch is a big thing.
Yeah.
Touch is a huge, huge thing for me.
What do you do going home to kind of reset, to leave work at work, to be ready to be full-time dad, husband, our real job?
Right.
That's tough transition for me because I'm still kind of churning from the day, or I might take a call, like I'm running out and somebody's like, hey, I got to go, but call me. I'll talk to you in the car on the way home. Yeah. And then I'm still in the car on my driveway and my girls are coming up like, Daddy, can you play? I'm like, not now, damn it. I'm like, who am I? Like I'm coming home to the people I love. But I've found I have to have some intentionality at that point too.
Yeah. And this is one I struggle with. And for me, now that I've got a longer commute, I used to walk home from work, and man, it was tough because I would take that last meeting home with me. I'd come in, everyone could feel my body energy, the dad energy. And it got to where my wife would be like, hi, like everybody's, like we're all safe, right? And it was just this energy I'd bring into the house. Now I've got a longer commute, and so this is going to be cheesy. I sing real loud. I don't listen to podcasts on the way home anymore. It just had a negative effect on me.
Because it's opening loops.
It's just
it's taking you back to work things.
I'm back to thinking things. I have a rule that I don't read science books in the evening. And I'm a nerd. I read fiction in the evening.
I don't think a lot of people struggle with that. Science books?
But for some people that is, don't watch the news in the evening. Do not watch the news in the evening. Don't check social media in the evening. Don't get into those things that are going to send you down your loop trails, right? And everybody's got different loop trails. But I make sure I call a friend or a family member on the way home just so I can have a human conversation that's not about work.
I like that.
And then when I get home, sometimes I'll sit in the driveway for a few minutes. I'll check what I need to check one more time. And then when I get out of that car, they're off. And man, that's hard. They're off. Occasionally, I drove up yesterday. My son was outside. I saw him as I was driving in. He saw me, sprinted inside, came out with 2 baseball gloves. I've got makeup on because I've been on TV and whatever. I'm in my work clothes. And dude, I took my shoes off, rolled my pants up, and we played catch barefoot in the yard until my old man arm couldn't work anymore. And it was like every routine I've got's out the window because that little boy just saw me. He's been thinking about playing catch all day. My daughter came out last night dressed like Moana, which is I'm convinced, communist Pixar movie of some sort. I don't know what it is, but she came out dressed like Moana, and I told my wife she looked exactly. I remember that face, and it was on my wife when she turned the corner in her wedding dress, and I looked at her down the aisle. And my 4.5-year-old daughter looked at me and with the face that just said, tell me I'm beautiful. And it was like everything stops, right? And it's me being open to those moments and not being such a slave to my routine, which is critical,
right?
But looking for the routine drives human engagement. How about that?
I love that you're able to do that with your kids. I think one of the most devastating phrases a child hears is not right now. And it's filled with our best intentions to eventually whatever they want us to play with them. But what they hear is whatever you're doing is more important than me.
Right.
And of course there are some times that's, hey, welcome to life, kid. You're not the priority right now. But if we're not careful, that becomes the norm.
Right.
Because whatever stupid thing we're looking at on our phone, or God forbid my work clothes have to we got to go change my work clothes before I can say yes to baseball. And he knows that as soon as you go in that closet,
I'm never coming out.
Now you got on your phone, and now it could be 2 hours or never even happens that night.
That's right. So we're going to stay out there. Instead of not right now, not yet, I think a much better phrase is, come here real quick. Here's what the plan's going to be. And sometimes that plan is, I'm not going to be able to play catch with you tonight. You're on your own. I want you to go have adventures. And he'll go, come on, Dad. I'm not going to be able to do it tonight. And you're right. He needs to learn that boundary. My job isn't to entertain him. But my job also isn't to leave him hanging. Because what kids do when they feel that ... when they feel that ellipsis, they backfill that separation with, this is my fault. they backfill this separation with, I've got to do something to get their attention that is more important than whatever's on that little screen. And some kids try to be perfect, and some kids try to be little nuclear weapons in the house, and some kids just disappear and they never come back. And so, if you find yourself saying, not yet, not right now, either give your kid the grace of no with a period at the end of it. I'm not playing catch with you tonight. Then that's not going to happen tonight. Or say, I have to go do this. I want you to walk with me. Let's talk about your day. I'm going to change my clothes and we're going to go.